Welcome or welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to review something that is very cool that I never seen before. This is a Kyosho Bomber 14X. So this is the equivalent, the Kyosho equivalent or Kyosho equivalent of the Tamiya Quick Drive QD buggy version. So Tamiya released in the late 80s a kind of toy entry-level version of an RC car called a QD quick drive with powered by 8 AA batteries in the car and a 9-volt square battery in the remote. Kyosho came pretty much at the same time with the Sky Bomber that we see here. It's the first time I see one. This one has a bit of a history. As you probably know, in the QD group, I know pretty much inside out this platform on the Tamiya version, and because I had, I would say, in total, including the Trailmasters, maybe 20 different cars, most of them that I refitted and sold. Some of them that I still have in parts, some that I offered to my nephew and niece, and I still have plenty. I still have basically my first RC in 1990 probably, or 1991, was a Monterey, and I still have it. It's not the original shell, and I modified many things, but it's still the same car that I still have today. And we are going to compare, and actually the history of the one we see in front of us right now, I just had it for £20 on eBay, and it had kind of a fire inside. So the car itself is in a really good condition. The tires are amazing. They're not new, but close to new. Sorry about the lights, it's not the best. But here, this is going to give you a hint. It's Kyosho, but a little bit melted, because so I'm going to actually it's the first time I have a proper look here. Okay, first time I'm going to see the guts. So you push, apparently. I don't know if I can. Let's see. Here we go. I managed to open for the first time the battery tray, and yes, it's clearly melted. So I noticed when I opened the box that the servo was missing, which is fine because, and there are very few scratches under, a tiny bit here, which is normal. Tires are in great condition. The bumper is in almost mint condition. The shell is really good. The remote is missing the antenna, but I'm sure I have one somewhere that is compatible in France, because I live in London, but most of my RC stuff are in France, next to Le Mans, which is cool. So I already fitted a battery for the weight, because without the battery the remote doesn't stand. But with and oh yes, so I can tell already it's very stiff, the spring inside the remote, for turning, which is good, which is very good. I even have the spare. The only thing from the guts of inside the car is spare crystal. So as you probably know, on the QD Tamiya version, you can't use the quick drive Tamiya remote with anything else than a quick drive car, which means you can't use the remote, regardless of the crystal you use, with a regular vintage receiver with a crystal. It doesn't work. It's not the same protocol. It doesn't work at all. However, I already did few times including in the only QDs that I have here in London, which is my original Monterey. I know how to swap the guts. I mean the PCB, which is ESC and receiver, plus the servo, all attached together, and fit a standard Futaba servo and put ESC and receiver, okay? And then to connect with some batteries. Of course, in this case, okay, so the previous owner already took out the metal, maybe at the back? Yeah, he already took the metal parts. I hope one of the Tamiya one will fit over here, or we'll try to find the original Kyosho, but I have few hopes about it. It comes with a motor, I think it should. Let me check. Yes, it does, but I can't see the wires, so okay. Which is fine. It has the same gearbox as the Tamiya. So what I think happened in the late 90s, early 90s, for both Kyosho and Tamiya, is that these QD and Bomber were not made by Kyosho and Tamiya. I think, I might be wrong, but I think they were made by a third-party company that submitted these designs or prototypes to Tamiya and Kyosho to fill up their entry-level kids half toys, half hobby grade, but bit in between, because it has a servo, you know, so it's a toy, a very expensive toy with proportional steering, and that was quite fast. I mean, quite fast. It doesn't have any oil, you know, it springs, but the quality is there. You can tell the quality is here, that's for sure. So yes, I think it was a manufacturer of toys that just managed to get Tamiya and Kyosho to buy the design or something like this. So my project on this one, because it's beautiful in terms of, again, the light that I have right now is not amazing, but it looks in really good condition for the age, because again, this is like 30 years old. And also I have the original antenna, which is same on one side. I don't know if we are going to see it. It's the same on one side like this. It was holding with a screw, but on the other side it has like a white thingy, but on the Tamiya it's black and it's different shape. So we'll see some things that I will try to check. So on the Tamiya, the buggy came in two versions, let's say Mark 1, Mark 2. The Mark 1 had 4mm rim and just a shaft, and you put the front rim on it, and that's it. The V2, which is the one I prefer, has actually bearings. So bushings with the original version, but of course you can swap for bearings, which was an expensive option at the time. So my goal with this one, we are going to open it later on and see how it is. My goal will be to put a ESC, receiver, servo, connect to the original motor, which is fine. Also, we are going to explore, the diff is very loose, which is good, you know. So what we are going to do, we are going to open everything and re-grease everything if needed, see all the differences with the Tamiya, but also fit some ball bearings. I can see here it doesn't go up as much as it should. See, could go up slightly more, so maybe it needs a bit of oil, maybe I need to clean. So we are going to do that all together. Oh, that's cool, the design here. And revive it and make sure that it works with modern radio. I'm also going to try to see if this is working not only with a regular vintage receiver, but also if it doesn't, maybe it works with a vintage Tamiya QD. I don't know, because it's very similar in terms of function. So here you have the steering trim and throttle trim. Okay, very similar layout. Same LED here. The feel is different, actually. Slightly different. It's almost like I should open it to see the difference. And here, cool thing as well, and we had that as well on the Tamiya. Here you see, hold on, because I'm using here we go. That's much better. You can see all the frequencies and the colors. I mean, brown for frequency 1, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. That's pretty cool. 1988, made in Korea. Proper vintage. Has few scratches, but you know, it's in decent condition. And again, the antenna is not an issue. It's called AF, Digital Proportional Radio Control System. Wow, amazing. And inside, so I just fit the battery and that's it. So with the battery, ta-da, it fits. So hold on, I need to zoom out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to grab a screwdriver and see how it is without the shell, and if we can actually fit a servo and everything, and try to explore everything. Try to do everything tonight, actually. Okay, I'm almost done with the screwdriver to get rid of the shell, to take out the shell. However, I just noticed some things that is interesting to point out. In the Kyosho, in the Tamiya version, the rear shocks are attached to the gearbox. No, actually, no, sorry, they are not attached to the gearbox. They are attached to the chassis with something that goes over like this. But on the Kyosho version, the rear shocks are actually attached to the shell. Yeah, interesting. And there is a rear bumper, which is a very cool idea, actually. Tamiya should have done the same. And of course, while I'm doing this, I'm also watching Tomly RC. Of course, RC stuff. We all do that, right? When we work on our cars, we watch some YouTube videos, I guess. Okay, I can tell you these screws were not meant to be taken off. They are so long, I never seen that. Good. Very long. And here it is. For those who are familiar with the QD chassis, it's the same but different at the same time. It's incredible. Similar tech, but again, the QD is going over for the suspension mounts. Still has, as I mentioned before, the 2 speeds, which is great. It's just the same but different. Charging ports. I mean, used to have a charging port, which is very cool because you could leave 8 AA batteries. You just had to plug it here, flip the switch on off over here, there we go, and leave it charged until next time, which was great. Oh my god, this. I have some plans, don't worry. I can revive it. Can put a small 2S LiPo, for example, or and that's the thing where we are going to discuss about that later. I'm probably going to fit a tiny ESC, a tiny 30 amp ESC brushed, which is great because it can do also 1S. So, but it needs then another another battery on the side to power just the servo, because if not, it's too sluggish. I mean, it's a whole thing. There is a video on my channel actually about a cheap 1S brushed ESC solution that you can make for yourself. So anyway, and this tiny ESC, if you use a small motor, not a big one, you can even fits 3S. So actually I'm probably going to fit a tiny 2S LiPo in this. And it's going to be good on this tiny ESC. So here, this little hole, it might, I'm saying might have been to fit a screw, okay, like this, somewhere like this, and to adjust the trim directly on the car. So I know some of the QD had that, especially the first version, the one without bearings at the front, which is similar to these wheels. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm saying a mistake, maybe it was on the Mark II, I don't know, I don't remember, where you could do this. So you could adjust the trim on the remote, but also on the car, which is so cool. Okay, now I'm going to open this and see how it goes. Very easy, only 2 screws. There are more on the Tamiya version. Oh wow, so this is okay. It does include the front suspension with the top, which is not the case with the Tamiya. So you see again, same but different. Amazing. While Tom Lee RC is reaching some top
that
speed,
wasn't it, I could tell.
I open this.
Oh, save.
And so very strange compared to the QD. Very clean on the inside. By the way, what's written here? It's written factory assembled, electronic power, 2-channel. Okay, sure, cool. Okay, here. So again, the previous owner took the guts out. This is kind of melted. You can tell the servo was here with the brackets here for the servo. This, okay, this is the same part as on the QD. I have the rest. He didn't include it, unfortunately, but I have the other part that goes with it, which is fine. I have a spare one here. The shocks are awful. I need to undo them and do something with it. It's not the most precise car in the world when you turn, but it's fine for what it is. I think the front arms are slightly different design and not compatible with Tamiya ones, but I might be wrong. So anyway, I have the part to fit directly on this. Hopefully a servo is going to fit. Then I stick a small ESC over here, a receiver, and Bob's your uncle. I need to, next step. I'm going to take a servo and see how if it fits. Then I'm going to leave it here. You know, it's fine. I'm not going to unscrew this part and dismantle that. I'm just going to check the wheels, so undo the nuts and check the motor. And actually, we are going to take this apart in 2 different pieces because I want to open. Okay, I just realized this cover is not original and probably from a remote, the bottom of a remote. So yeah, I'll have to find a door for that. Hopefully this is not broken. Okay, so that's on the shopping list. Okay, it's starting to become a bit of a mess, but everything makes sense. So for the servo, this is a Futaba servo 3003, something like this. I managed to find the little part to adapt the servo, and as you can see here, it does work. Okay, so this is going to be the receiver. This is a tiny ESC that I told you about, that I think it's a great buy because it's only 4 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 max. There is a switch on it to have brakes or not, if you want to use it with both or something like this. I already soldered different plugs for the motor and a DIN on this one. However, for this build I'm probably going to use another one. Here I cut some wires already, but because I'm going to plug directly the motor on it, you know, these kind of things. So they are great. They work fine. 1S, 2S, 3S. However, If you do 3S, you have to connect a small motor like a 280 size motor, like on this one. If you plug a, I don't know, like a modified 540 motor on 2S, it's going to burn. Okay, this ESC is going to last literally a few seconds and that's it. So don't do it. But for tiny motor up to 3S, it's fine. Or 8 AA batteries. Great. So the servo. Let's go back to the servo thing. So here you see GT5. It works. Similar to QD, but not exactly the same. So if I can take it off, as you can see, I tried different ones. I haven't tried this one, which used to be in a 1/8 vintage nitro. So, but I think the gearing is a bit so-so. So I think it gives up. But on a very small car like this, it might do the trick. This is another option. Traxxas, however, it's painfully slow. So this is cut already, because in the QD, when you fit this kind of servo, you have to cut some of it to fit the top. And you have to modify a little bit of the inside. But the tub is different on this Kyosho from the Tamiya, so the cuts are different. So I managed to find the part for the servo. Let me take it off. Here we go. So the thing is, if I fit the servo, I will have to cut probably this bit and this bit as well. Okay. If I fit a tiny servo, the problem I have is that this screw, this thing, I don't know how to say, is not going to mesh with the original because it's too small. Even if I take this servo, which is a 5-wire servo, but I have a board that goes after that. And this is an original servo from Tamiya 124 Stamtech. You know, the Porsche or the Le Mans prototype. So it fits great in terms of length. See here, it fits alright. The problem is it will move, and I still have the same problem that this is too small. So we need to stick with the standard servo. So I might try this one, which is painfully slow, or I fit low profile. Low profile it fits, but well, this low profile servo fits. It does fit between the two brackets. It's slightly not straight. It's a bit wonky. But the thing is, I don't want to use this one because I want to keep this one for a nice car. This is very, very fast. It's 9 kilos, so it's really overkill. So what I'm probably going to end up with, break this, break that, fit this one. If it doesn't work, I fit the Traxxas. If the Traxxas is too slow, I fit the Futaba, and it's going to be fine. So I'm going to do that. I'll get back to you. So in the end, I fitted the very heavy high-tech. I measured the weight, 60 grams, compared to this one that is 33 grams. 36 grams, sorry. So 60 grams for this one, metal thingy, but I know the gears are not good under a heavy stress. So in this car, it's going to be light. It's going to be not much stress, so it's perfect. I just had to take out a small piece of plastic from the chassis, and here it's fine on the side, and it's not perfectly straight. You see here it's touching here. Here there is a bit of gap, but I will try to bring it back. I hope it fits with the cover. If it doesn't, like on the what's it called, on the QD, rather I break the top like on the QD, okay, or I just fit the Traxxas even if it's slow because it's already cut. So I don't know, whatever. It's not that important. Okay, so in the end I fitted the Traxxas because it fit better and fits better, whatever. It's super slow, but again, it's going to run mainly on carpets inside. Oh my god, it's so slow. Anyway, okay, so it's taking shape. The servo, as I said, is a Traxxas. It's already cut. I fitted the top on it and it closed well. It's a bit tight, but it closed. The receiver, it's the same trick as in the QD, so because the pins for the connectors are too tall, so you need to put it upside down through the hole, so you have a bit of space over there, so it's sticking out, which is fine. We have some space. This is a tiny ESC. Everything is stick with some Velcro over here. I left this one, I don't care. Here I need to solder plus and minus, like an extension of cables to go on the motors. This is going to be cut and I'm going to replace with the DIN. This is just crappy adapters that I have sometimes to test some stuff. Cool thing, the rims, sorry, are completely different and the design is completely different from the QD. And look, there is no bearings here. Here we have a tiny pin and ball bearings. So I don't know if it's original or the previous owner fitted it that, but crazy. Next up, I'm going to open the engine and see the motor, sorry, not the engine, and see how it connects. Should be similar to QD. And I'm going to solder cables, solder it to here, and see how it goes. Watching video from YouTube, RC Retro, very good channel. Ari, if you see me, cheers. So the motor is also a 280, but it's a Kyosho branded, not a Mabushi branded like on the QD. I think the wires has been stripped, and usually on the QD you can take it off, but I can't take it off. I don't really want to mess up too much with it. I don't want to break it, so I'm going to solder directly on that, some cables, and then straight to the ESC.
Yes, those side vents I think are going to come out nice. Got to paint those up red just like the body.
Ta-da! Painfully slow, but it works. All right. Okay. So the slow gear, slow top hand, maximum torque, and the other one is a top speed, low torque. Sounds good. I know I was supposed to open the entire case. I didn't do it because I was wondering that maybe I would break something, so I'm just going to leave it for now. So let's try. Oh, so inside, so what I managed to do, this is 14500 size batteries. So these two batteries, they are exactly the size of a double A battery, and then I just stick it here for now. So it's a 2S. I can't put the door on it, which is not original anyway. So this is working. I will try to find a replacement for that. And look at that. It's great. It's so different. So cool. Driving with one hand. Okay. Very slow. So to conclude, it works very well, except the servo is too slow, that's for sure. So I might have to change it for something else, or maybe to try to change, yeah, I don't know, probably changing the servo. But yeah, I'm looking forward to try it outside. It's very different from a QD, but being the same at the same time. It's a cousin. See? Quick update. So I'm going to change the servo because this is just unusable. I wanted to show you that inside there is one ball bearing that I'm going to change actually because I don't know, maybe I messed it up. But it's a bit wobbly and everything, so I'm going to change the bearing and see if it's high. This is the scissor is to avoid the shaft to go too much inside. This is, you know, that's pretty cool. And also something I forgot, I mean I noticed just right now, this is broken here. So if you have another one, let me know. I might be interested. Going to open this, going to change the servo. I'm going to put the one that is a bit broken under lots of load. 60 grams, very big. It used to be in a 1/8 nitro, and let's see how it goes. Once again, still watching RC Retro. Hey. So, much better than before, like the original. So I changed the bearing. Need to put the nuts. Okay, and much faster servo. Servo is cut on both sides. Now it's time for reassembly. The date I promise is the last one. I managed to fit the new servo. I tried it. It works perfectly fine. Now it's usable like any RC. And I managed to fit the original antenna, so that's pretty cool. And yes, no gearbox. I still need to, so I didn't get inside the gearbox, but it's fine. It seems perfectly fine. I need a new wing. I'm going to order a new battery cover and new part like this. And that's it. I think it will be for sale actually. I really like it though. Now to compare with a QD, which was my first RC. We can see clearly the front shocks are smaller on the Tamiya. The wheels used to be similar, it's just that these ones are M chassis, so they are smaller diameter. And yeah, you can see it was same but different. You can tell the DNA is the same.